Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day in which I still haven't done a whole lot of other work. These are gonna get fixed up even further today, I promise. I even forgot it was a holiday until, like, yesterday. A holiday in the United States. If you're watching from outside the United States, of course, I mean, you may have a holiday, but you won't have ours. Which is fine, just letting you know why I say, hey, it's a holiday, and you look around and no, it's not. Yay. I slept well-ish last night, got to bed late. But if I go to bed earlier on some nights, I'll be up at 3, or 2 in the morning. So that's not fun, and I try to avoid that. But it wasn't bad. It was pretty chilly last night. Went for walkies. It was a good walkies. It was bright stars, and that's why it was so cold. You know, when there's no cloud cover, all the heat radiates off into space. And hey, just for YouTube algorithms, I can talk, I can speak English, and front loading of videos, hey, if you could toss me a like, if you like what you hear and see, that'd be awesome. If you could subscribe to the channel, if you haven't already, that too would be cool. I love comments. If you could leave me a comment, I read each and every one of them. I thumbs up each one I do read, which to remind you is every one of them. And I answer as many as my executive dysfunction will allow. And now my nose is itching because, of course, I'm talking. Yay! I also have a whole bunch of links in the video show more, which I don't know where it is on the device you're watching, but inside there's things like my Patreon. Each and every one of my Patreon patrons, these beautiful and awesome people that are literally beautiful and awesome. Thank you, each and every one of these beautiful and awesome people, for helping to keep me alive, for keeping my pets alive, for making my slowly descending life into everything awful at least a little slower, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, because I'm on disability. Disability goes up at a much, much slower rate than does the cost of living. So, oy vey. But that's such is life. I don't want to talk about that depressing stuff. I want to talk about this depressing stuff instead. One silly thing I just finished watching a video on just before starting to record. I think the fellow's name is Tom Scott, but he did a video on how there is a city in Britain that went and lost its status as a city. There are many, many ways that you can be defined as a village or a town or a city or all that. But apparently over in Britain, a city is a city if it's on the list of cities. That's the only criteria necessary. If you want to be a city, you have to get a town council together and do a whole bunch of legal jumping through hoops, present your petition to the government, and then the government will say whether or not you are in fact a city now. And then you may be on the list, you may not. The city of Rochester had apparently been a city for since the 1300s. And then with a whole bunch of reshuffling and modern life and governmental stuff and just the way things goes, the actual city itself had become just part of a neighborhood of a larger area. And then in a greater shuffling, that part became a greater part of another thing. And then they noticed that someone had not done the paperwork. And 4 years prior, their city had been delisted as a city. And they can never be relisted as a city because you need to have that council. And it's not a city anymore. It's just a neighborhood in a larger area. It's not Rochester, the city. It's just part of the Medway borough in this larger place. So because of just some silly little thing, they lost their status. How about that? And I just thought that was both amusing and sad. I mean, it's all just human semantics and such. It doesn't mean a bloody thing, but life is life. Hey, everything is in transition, and that's a good thing. Everything has a beginning, middle, and an end. Yay. Now, I do want to, looking over at my list over here of topics, want to talk about some various things, most of them dealing with creative talk and some of them actually about the creative talk, and some of them in reference to the creative talk. I wish I could remember. Confused Owl left me a comment that I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it was. And I also want to talk about one of my other characters that I've been doing, but we will all work on that, because one of the first things I wanted to talk about was I have mentioned that if you have the site, if you have that extra universal chromosome, and with the extra everyone on the planet in this universe has that, but whether or not you're going to have the expression of your extra universal genes is different. And about 10% of the world population has that expression, so they have the site. But the site is just, you have these extra universal senses and the extra universal ways of processing this information that normal brains can't do. So you can see and hear and taste and touch and smell all that, the stuff from the inside that normal people cannot. But it's just the sight. I have to keep checking over here on my list. If you have the sight, then you're able to interact, you're able to use the glamours, you're able to travel to the razor's edge, and if you wish, you can go further onward into the inside. Now, if you have the sight, once you are exposed to things from the razor's edge or the inside, you will crave these things. It might be a minor craving. It may be that once a year you get reminded that the glamours are out there, and that fulfills, sustains, and renews you for another year. And there are those who crave this so much, and they're usually loners in the first place anyway. But you drop everything. You cut all your ties out here and you move in because you need it so much. And the razor's edge isn't enough, so you go inside, and then you just go further until, well, you either find what you're looking for, or you pass from old age, or something discovers you're a straight bit of protein and takes advantage of that. Most people are in the middle that have the sight. As for that, would I personally want to go to the razor's edge, on the inside, or any of that such, if it were a real place? No, especially not the razor's edge. One of the big points that I'm trying to make on my little project that I've got, which is a full year of stuff happening on the razor's edge, the inside, I'm going to come back to this, no fear. On the inside, I would probably live in the Crimson Kingdom, because things are stable enough and safe enough that actually you can mostly walk around there with no weaponry, and you're fine. You'll be safe. In fact, a lot of people do. They live their entire full lives and have never had to pick up a weapon to defend themselves. And that's good. I probably would do that. But the razor's edge is nuts. It is crazy insane. As I've mentioned, out here reality is flat. There's just one here. What we see, the here, is all that's here. On the inside, it's that times 100. There's in each square kilometer, there's effectively 1,000 square kilometers of space wadded up and put inside. So there's a lot more there. It's an infinite fractal landscape, and with the fluid geology, or geography, and the way things are, you can find literally anything. The razor's edge is that times 1,000. It's 1,000,000 square kilometers of stuff wadded down into each square yard. Or meter, since that makes more sense, since I'm talking about kilometers. And there is so much more there. It is crazy insane. It's not a death sentence by far. Most people survive just fine, even if you'll have some harrowing encounters through your life. But I'm starting my little project of a year in the life, a year of stories just on the razor's edge. And during that time, the town of Abernathy, 3,200 people, they all get eaten. 12,000 people in the city of Apple Rock, they all get eaten. There are horrifying and terrifying things everywhere, as well as good, joyous, and wonderful things. I'm a homebody. I stay here. I spend 95% of my time in this room, on my computer, with my consoles, playing with my cats, plural, right, pets, my one cat, my hamster. You know, I go downstairs and upstairs to get food, and I go out for walkies for exercise. I'm not a big adventurous type person. I personally would not spend a whole lot of time on the razor's edge. I'd visit once or twice just to see it, maybe if I had a friend who lived there. But on the whole, it's way too rich for my blood. I may, if it was real and there were an opportunity, emigrate to the Crimson Kingdom. But even at that, I mean, your odds of being eaten even there are never zero. They're just small. Well, if I've got time, I wanted to talk about this too. In the inside, out here, we generally, depending on where you live, you don't have to worry about being eaten. I've lived in, 99% of my life in Washington State. I've never had to try and keep something from eating me. I doubt I'll have to fend for my life and try to keep something from eating me before I finally perish of old age. On the inside, about every 10 years, you roll a percentile die. You don't really, it's just a law of averages and how often this happens. If you're out in the wild, if you roll like a 0 to 40, you're not even going to know you had an attack. Like there was a mosquito that wanted to kill and eat you, and then it landed on you and drank some of your blood, and its bloodlust satisfied, it flew away. You're going to have other attacks in like the 40 to 50 mark where, you're going to be fighting like anywhere from a squirrel to a rabid raccoon to something the size of a dog, a large dog that wants to kill you and eat you. And then, of course, if you roll like 70 or above, it's not this bad. The percentages are not this horrific. This is just off the top of my head. That's when you come up across like the grizzly bear. No, at that point, your time as a living being is over. Your time as lunch has started. But if you're in the city, that's like 50%. You're attacked by something you don't even know about. The up to 80%, from 50 to 80, it's a battle. Only from 81 to 0, that your number's up. On the razor's edge, those numbers are crazier. That happens every 5 years. You have to make that, metaphorical roll of the dice. They're not a whole lot more horrific, only a few bumps down, and that's mostly because the razor's edge is less populated, so there's less stable areas, and there is all this static energy that keeps discharging, and that keeps things really moving. So it's wild, it's crazy. I'm going to talk about this one more because I've actually thought about this one, because even you can actually be under constant attack, and I was even thinking about this one, and it's not a problem. Like, I was figuring that there's a beautiful houseplant that people keep. You keep it trimmed down. It's a slow growing thing, and if you do let it grow, it takes about 2 years, and it grows into like a 10-foot tall, 5-foot circumference plant. But it also has these 20-foot long wrapping vines, and it's carnivorous, so if it grows that big, your life is danger because it likes to eat meat. Except it's not really. It takes 2 years to grow to that size, and it's a beautiful plant. It's a house plant. That's why people grow it. It's a beautiful plant. It's not something that no one will notice. It is a large, beautiful plant. But even with the wrapping tentacles that it has, it's a plant. It's slow. It's gonna take like a day to wrap you up in its vines, and its thorns are also the things that have to pierce you and transport your blood out of you, because it does want to drain you and leave your corpse just a dried husk. You basically, as it takes the full day, you have to sit there, because if you move too much, you're gonna hurt the vines. And then once the thorns are in you and draining your blood, you basically have to not move for a day or two while it drains the fluids out of your corpse, and it's hard not to move, and if you do, it has to start all over because you've dislodged all. You're under a constant threat of attack. But does it matter? You basically have to, it's slow motion life-ending choice on your part. So you can be under constant threat. And does it matter? I figured that one of these side things I want to talk about is there's a person in like the Apple Rock who's doing a live streaming thing and showing a squirrel that he's keeping in a cage because it tried to kill him. Because it wants to eat him. It is a meat-eating squirrel, and he's just talking about and showing the squirrel he caught. And I figure that would probably go on for a while as he live streams his attempts to tame it and make it into a happy and friendly human flesh devouring squirrel. Yeah, it wants to kill you and eat you, but how much can a squirrel eat? Not much. And if a squirrel can kill you, probably better for the gene pool. And I've opened up 24 hours to read the comments in my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. There aren't many, but there's more than 0, and that's awesome, so thank you all. If I mispronounce a username, why is my hand facing me? If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. I'm an American English speaker, and even though I count in American Sign Language, well, with my depression, fibro, ADHD, brain fog from various issues, oi, I'm doing pretty good right now. I'm getting better slowly, but, slowly. So we have Ice Damon, and I am so very sorry. That is awful. Here's hoping your day gets better. And Confused Owl 29. You have to pick and choose. When I say, do the everything is canon, that's largely because it's a new feeling for me, and also because it irritates the gatekeepers. I'm still evolving on my views on this. Everybody does. This is just my position at this moment. It will change. E.P. thumbs up and thank you. Flora Mew, a lot of good things, and I hope to speak about them tomorrow. Zach Goodrich, thumbs up and thank you very much for the advice. There is Hunter, greatly, greatly appreciated. Davo, thumbs up and thank you. There is 6ix9INE, thumbs up, thank you. Ben B, greatly appreciated. And that is it. 9 people left me comments in the past 24 hours. That is more than 0 as stated, and it is greatly appreciated because you get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only in text and only for a short time. That is appreciated. Thumbs up and thank you. So with my hands in the air, again, with the video description thing, I don't know where it is on your device, but if you could check it out, it has all my various links to all my various channels in it, as well as my Twitter, my Facebook, and again, my Patreon. And I do want to, once more, thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and awesome people are beautiful and awesome, both inwardly and outwardly. You shine like beautiful diamonds. Thumbs up and thank you so much. It is so greatly appreciated. I enjoy surviving. Thumbs up. My wrist hurt. I can't remember how long I should keep my hands up. Thumbs up and thank you all. Yay! If you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, I do have a PayPal link down below, and thumbs up for that. Oh, vey, it is not good. If you'd like to help me out without sending money, I do have an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like cat food on it, and I need cat food somewhat desperately, so if you can afford it, that would be cool. Now, do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled. And if you cannot or you do not donate, I take all... There we go. I'm input lag there. I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart where I draw interest. So thank you very much. And if you could toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. A definite thumbs up. And of course, if you could hit the notification bell on the subscription button, that would be greatly appreciated. Thumbs up and thank you so much. Yay! My major project that I'm hopefully going to be working on today is getting more of this one here worked on, cleaned out, and stuff moved so that I can start repositioning things entirely. So that'll be good. I'll be getting the dust and the spider webs off of everything, and it'll be looking different. Nice, thumbs up. And of course, I did change all this around, so that's cool. I'm trying to do that on a daily basis as well until I can get it all fixed up. Yay. Hopefully you're going to be able to work on whatever project you would like to work on today. That would be very cool. And of course, with the Covfefe bug still a raging, with anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 U.S. citizens every single day kicking off from this bug, please, this is not over. Take it seriously. Wear a mask, wash your hands, try not to touch your face, maintain your social distancing, do not go out amongst others if you do not have to, avoid the unmasked unvaxxed, mouth-breathing plague rats as best you can. Get vaxxed. Get a booster. You are alive for such a short period of time, and you are dead forever after. Don't check out early. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is, quite frankly, a very good thing.